Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. All right. It says we're not on, but that's a lie. I know that's a lie. We are on. Let's what's this? The last one? Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we will recording in progress. We're recorded to the cloud. Looks like we're all set. Says we're live. Hey, it's Wednesday, so it must be Whiskey Wednesday. Wow, we got a full house tonight, and they're on fire. All right. So, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. A lot of free whiskey usually does that. Everybody should have gotten their little gift set and a special vial, which you can't get anymore, which is the Great King Street Artist Blend, the original. So you guys all should have that. Everybody here. All right. We're breaking in new personnel from Compass Box tonight.
That's right.
So we have the market manager, Melissa Giles.
Gygas.
I knew I was going to get that wrong.
That's okay.
It felt so weird.
Everybody does.
Okay. Well, at least I'm not alone.
That's okay.
I was just going to say Melissa is here with us tonight. We're going to go through, we get some exciting stuff to go through tonight because we are actually introducing 2 new core blends for Compass Box tonight.
Yes.
All right. I know it's exciting, right? I thought so. All right. So first of all, we're going to start with something that's going away.
Yes.
This is I know it's so terrible.
It's really sad.
It is sad, but you know what? There's going to be like yearly releases of it. I mean, you just can't keep doing the same. You could do it and call it that, but it wouldn't be from the same stocks. It wouldn't have the same flavor. You have to know when to say when, right?
Yeah. So
it's run its course. We can't support it. So we'll come up with something new rather than trying to hold on to something that won't taste the same as we're used to.
Yeah, and it's exciting to taste. I know we're not tasting Hedonism 2024, which came out earlier this year, but to taste them side by side and to have a blended grain whiskey, but to have similar profile but taste different is interesting. And we're going to be doing new releases every year.
Well, we have a little surprise at the end for everybody too. So, yeah. So yeah, thank you. Save a little bit of this first one if you can.
That's hard to do.
If you can't, we understand, but you're not getting any more. So save a little bit of this. We do have a couple little surprises tonight, which is great, courtesy of Megazone. This is what's great about having the Lock and Key Society Club is that it is truly a club, and these guys collect a lot of things, and they are very adamant about sharing them, which is great for us. So you'll do well tonight. So the first one on our dais tonight is the last of the Hedonism regular release.
Yes. So this is the Hedonism that's part of our core. I call it Hedonism Core or Hedonism Classic or Hedonism OG. But this is
or Heedy when they're feeling frisky. Heedy.
Yes. But yeah, this is the last of it. And I'm new to the Massachusetts market. I live in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, came for the night. Happy to be here. And so
Yankees or Mets.
I was a Yankees fan, but my last boss was a big Mets fan, so I kind of switched over. I know it sounds kind of crazy.
So you went from loser to loser?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Red Sox are the only team. Come on. Even though, no, they're actually not playing that well this
year. But we're almost out of it in New York, so this is it. But
we're almost out of it here.
Okay.
We actually bought we bought in to some of the last stuff that's here. I don't know, David, if there's still some left.
Is that
David's going to check inventory now because he can make us. The salesman always want to make.
Is that a 7 bottles or a 7 cases?
Seven bottles left. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we bought a lot and we only have 7 bottles left. So it's gone really, really well.
Yeah.
Well, when everybody knows they can't get any, they want it, right?
Right.
So, and by the way, you just tasted it. Tastes great though.
Are we starting?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay.
If I don't let them start drinking,
Cheers.
they get a little riled and.
Okay.
You and I
to
are targets. We're just up here like a shooting gallery.
I did a tasting last week. I just told everyone to start without me.
There.
while I was setting up.
No,
So
no, don't do that.
I forgot to do.
That's a big mistake here.
Okay.
Don't do that. But try the hedonism. Try
Okay.
number one. It's your first
Okay.
one. These are all labeled, so you shouldn't have a problem right now. Except for you. You'll have a problem. Yeah, I know the reading is tough.
So Hedonism is a blended grain whiskey. Okay. It's the
She
first.
was getting to it, Charlie. Jesus, calm down.
So Hedonism is the first blended grain whiskey to come out of Scotland in 2000 when Compass Box began. It's a blend of 18, 21, and 24-year-old whiskeys. And this is the first expression Scotch whiskey to come out of Scotland with a female figure on the label, which is why we're continuing with the theme for the hedonisms moving forward. If you've seen the Hedonism 2024 that came out earlier this year, it has a really beautiful golds featured woman that was designed by Stephanie Rue is the artist. So each year we'll be featuring a female figure on the label, and they've already designed 2025, which will be a blended grain whiskey, but all will be blended grains, but a similar profile, but if you do them side by side, quite different. I find Hedonism Classic in 2024 to be, if you've tasted them side by side, which I'm sure you have, very different, but still has that same vanilla, coconut, creme brulee, delicious dessert note quality to it.
What do we think? Good? Sad to see it go? Yes. All right. Well, yeah, they're out. I figured they would be out. So we have what's probably a little left is here. So
when I started working at Compass Box, I've been with Compass Box for just over a year, and my old boss, who is no longer with the company, dropped off my samples before I started at Compass Box, and I knew about Compass Box, but I was not familiar with each expression, and I tasted through all of the expressions and started with hedonism because I had not had it before.
Right.
And I was just blown away because I was new to the Scotch whiskey world. I came from American whiskey, and I was unaware of what grain whiskey could exude and taste like. And
what was your sort of take on before you had it? What was your preconceived notion about, did you have one about grain whiskey? Did you have a preconceived notion, or you just jumping in, or do you think it was something? Well, I'm just curious because.
So I didn't tell this story until about 6 months after I started working at Compass Box because I didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
But when I was reached out to this for this role, I didn't really know much about Scotch whiskey in general. I came from the wine world and then to American whiskey and then to the Scotch world. So I didn't know much about grain whiskey. So I learned very quickly, which I loved. And I discovered that Scotch whiskey really connected me more towards wine than American whiskey, because I find that there's a lot more of that. You can pick out more of those flavor profiles. So I was blown away by it. So I didn't really have a preconceived notion on what grain whiskey was until I tried hedonism. So
like, I mean, did you sort of think of like all Scotch whiskey was sort of the same?
I didn't know. I didn't know that there were so many different styles of Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just to talk about Compass Box. I think that's what's so special about Compass Box is the variety of whiskeys that you can get from one brand. So there's something for everybody.
Right.
If you're open to drinking whiskey at all, I even converted a gin drinker a couple weeks ago. It's just, that's what I find so fascinating.
Oh, and they're stubborn. I won't name any names here. Well, you know what's funny is because and you converted somebody from gin, but the funny part is that when my dad had the store, I mean, we've been around for 50 years. My dad had the store. It was always like we had always a really good whiskey selection. Scotch whiskey was always here, but in the summertime, most of he would bring in more gins, because in the summertime, a lot of his Scotch whiskey drinkers would switch to gin for the summer, and then they would switch back in the fall. So it's interesting. Like, we don't do that anymore. We just drink Scotch, whiskey all the time. But it's funny. There isn't akin to those flavor profiles, in the first flavor, coming out of Genevieve and stuff like that. They would actually use grain whiskey, basically, was the start.
Yeah, I mean,
grain distillate.
it's really just getting people to try it and opening their minds and their eyes up
Right.
to something different. So I
It's always
mean,
liquid to lips. Taste it
it is
and
liquid.
then make your judgment.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's one thing about compass box. You don't have to really, once they taste this, you got them sold.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Our CEO likes to, I don't know if I should even say this, but he likes to put a bottle in the freezer and it's like dessert.
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's allowed. Now, once you buy it, you can
I
pretty
hope
much
you
do
never,
whatever you want with it.
it's true.
No, but you just told it over the internet.
I
Good thing
did.
the 3 people that are watching right now
Yes.
now lost total respect for him, but
Oh,
that's
no.
okay. That's all right. No, that's not true.
Well, but that's what Compass Box is all about. It's drinking how you want to drink it.
Exactly.
I even say this at some tastings. I'm like, just have it with Coke. And everyone's like, no. No, but really, I mean, you should drink it how you want to drink it.
Just buy more bottles,
Yes.
however you want to drink it. Drink creative. There you go. I like
Mhm.
that. All right. So now we're the core lineup is changing. So we know hedonism is going away, but there's a couple that are actually staying, and we're going to try. The next one is sort of a new expression or a newer expression, anyways, and that's sort of staying with the core expressions, which is the Orchard House.
Yes. So Orchard House came out a few years ago. So it is a blended malt whiskey. It is what we're calling kind of the first of our core. And core four really is designed, the new core four is designed to have 4 distinct flavor profiles. And Orchard House is our fruit forward whiskey, as you get from the nose. You know, sometimes I don't like to say what I get because everyone has a different palate, but it's very clear. There's a lot of pear and apple and ginger and citrus, and it's meant to be spirit forward. It's meant to be crisp, bright. I don't know if refreshing is the right word, but it's meant to be fruit forward and bright and spirit forward. And what's interesting about Orchard House is, and I'm not sure if the story was told in the past, but um, John Glazer, our founder, started noticing several years back that some of the barrels that they were getting from Buffalo Trace, they were laying down whiskey in these barrels, and as they were tasting them throughout the years, the whiskeys were tending to be more fruit forward rather than more oak driven. And so they reached out to Buffalo Trace and said, hey, what's going on with these barrels? I'm getting a lot more fruit component rather than oak component. And they found out that Buffalo Trace was twice rinsing their barrels. And so to extract all of the, most of the alcohol out of them. So they noticed that the whiskeys were coming out quite fruity rather than vanilla forward and oak forward. And so that was really kind of the inspiration behind Orchard House to have something really fruit forward, spirit forward, using some of our new make whiskeys, laying those down. And so Orchard House is a great summer whiskey, great fall whiskey, great whiskey all year round.
Well, the true autumnal flavor is apple,
Yeah.
not pumpkin spice.
No.
So all of you out there,
Yeah.
stop right now. Pumpkins. Okay, I'm not going to go off on my pumpkin. I'll just put it to say it just took the whole spice rack to make pumpkin palatable. I'm just going to point that out. Apples, on the other hand, beautiful. Pears in the fall, beautiful. And this is so Compass Box. So John is there was an article I read a while back about exactly that happening, is that a lot of the bourbon distilleries were rinsing their barrels before they sent them out more because they were trying to keep as much bourbon flavor as they could.
Yes.
So they were rinsing them out. So they're sending them. They're not, even if they're wet, they might not be wet with bourbon, might be water or however they're sending them out. Some of them break them down, all that stuff. But they were like taking that sort of, like, we make it fun of it, calling it like the devil's cut, the stuff that's still in the wood. And a lot of Scottish distilleries started complaining about it. I love the fact that John didn't complain about it. He adapted it.
Yes. And
I said, like, we're going to go this. Okay, that's the new rule. We're going to go, look at those flavors we're getting. We're going to work with those, and we're going to make something that actually highlights that fact. And that's what this is.
Yeah. And this was also, Orchard House is really also James Saxon's baby. This is something that kind of morphed into noticing that the barrels were being rinsed. There was discussion about there being more fruit components coming out of these barrels. And this was really also James Saxon creation. So yeah.
Compass Box just pivoting on what they were getting, and
Yeah.
adapting to it. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. What do you guys think of this one? Right? It is refreshing. That's a good word. It is refreshing.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think so.
It came out of my mouth and I wasn't sure if that was the right word
No,
to
I
say.
think you're on. What did you
Okay.
say, Johnny? Yes, it is a very good highball whiskey.
It is a delicious highball whiskey.
It is.
That was my summer whiskey.
Yeah.
Highball. If anyone doesn't know what a highball is, it's just club soda and like a lemon twist or an orange twist, depending on, some bars will do like a fancy soda that comes out of a thing. I don't know what it's called.
Draft soda.
Yes, a draft soda.
Yeah, there you go.
And the bubbles are all, there's a chemistry thing behind it, which I couldn't tell you anything about it, but that's what a highball is. I go to different markets and people don't know what a highball is, so I just wanted to
a
clarify
highball-
what a highball is.
When people say that because in a lot of ways, like I drink beer when I'm thirsty. Like if I'm going to have something to eat, I will have wine. A lot of times I'll have wine or beer.
Yeah.
However, people always say, well, you really can't drink whiskey because when you're eating, you want more liquid, and you'd be pretty much snookered by the end of the meal if you just kept
Yeah.
knocking back whiskey.
Yeah.
But a highball is that bridging gap. That is what you like. That is really good to drink when you're having other things like Japanese food and stuff like that. Highball is great when you're having like ramen or something like that. The highball is the whiskey desada, the whiskey drink that you can drink all through dinner.
Yeah, the highball is for me when I have to go visit 6 accounts at restaurants and bars. So I'll drink a highball just so I can get home.
To the next place.
So I can get home.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
That's one between each
Yeah.
account, Charlie. Yes.
And at each account.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have my own highball with soda machine
you have your soda
in my
machine now?
backpack.
Yeah.
Yes, I just
A little what's the soda stream that you just sort of carry around with you?
Yeah.
Do you pre-mix it in the soda stream? Because that would be great.
No, I'm just on the street. I'm just on the street with the thing and
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good look for you, I think. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna talk about the first new core lineup of the
Yes.
core four, right?
Mhm.
And I hate the name.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it.
That's okay.
It's Nectarosity.
Yes.
Okay, I have it right. It's Nectarosity, and it does fit the flavor profile.
Yes.
I sort of get the name if that's what it's supposed to be. I get the name on this.
Yes, and so there's a couple things. There were a couple different iterations on names that for this whiskey.
I'm throwing you on the spot.
I had no part of the name. Nobody consulted me. But
We need to correct that.
Okay. Yes. But I was told by Karen, I think a lot of you know Karen here.
Just so you know, in these podcasts,
Yes.
she holds the record for most swears.
She did tell me I had to put a few curse words in there.
Yeah.
So
So just so you know,
I will.
some guy comes
after
in, he's
Peat
like a
Monster.
big guy. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes I swear and stuff like that. I go, you're not even anybody close
Yeah.
to Karen. So
So
I
there's
love you, Karen. I hope you're watching.
I think she's at a wedding. She's at a wedding tonight.
She's watching this.
So
It's a wedding. It's
I
boring.
hope so. Hi, Karen. Yes. So I do know that one version was called, and I did ask her for permission if I can tell you.
Oh.
I did ask her
You-
because I don't want to I already am saying things I probably shouldn't say. But it was going to be called Oak Groove.
So I really like the name.
And
Nectarosity.
and Karen
Take that back.
Yep. So Karen told me I saw her. I saw her yesterday. Actually, she was in New York on her way to a wedding, and she told the company that if they called it Oak Grove, she was going to quit.
Which means she came up with Nectarosity.
So when I first saw the name Nectarosity, I kind of felt the same way,
Yeah.
but it's really it just is easy to say, and I think it really does explain what the whiskey is.
Yeah.
The idea behind Nectarosity is the idea of nectar because you're getting a lot of those nectar notes, and then the word when they were naming Nectarosity, it was during the holidays.
Mhm.
So it was nectar, generosity, Nectarosity, and that's really James Saxon. And I don't know if it was a group effort, but this is the word that
We're gonna
that
have
they've.
James and I are gonna have words,
Okay.
just so you know. And it's not gonna be Nectarosity. All right. Yes, Jim. Well, we're gonna go through it right now. What's in Nectarosity
So
besides ground up bees
so
that had nectar?
So Nectarosity. So in our core four, we have 3 blended malt whiskeys, and then Nectarosity is our blended Scotch. It's about 65% malt whiskey, the rest grain whiskey. And what's really neat about Nectarosity is when we discovered that Buffalo Trace was twice rinsing out their barrels, since then we've been able to get Buffalo Trace barrels that are not twice rinsed. So we have been using some of those that you'll see when you look at the wheels. Everyone kind of knows that. I know I laminated my wheels, and people make fun of me because I have
No, that's a good
a
idea because guess what
laminator.
happens?
Yeah, they get wet,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and then I wipe them.
When you spill, when yeah, when you
And then
spill,
I
when
just
you
hit
spill
myself
your,
in the face with them.
when you spill your highball.
Yes, when I spill my highball. But yeah, so Nectarosity is a blended Scotch. It's a 65% malt whiskey, the rest grain whiskey. And what we're doing with the barrels, so we're sourcing virgin oak barrels from Missouri, and we're taking some of our grain whiskey, which is our Girvan, and seasoning these virgin oak barrels for about a year. Then we're removing that whiskey, so the barrels are nice and seasoned with grain whiskey, and putting some Clynelish and some mostly Clynelish, and then we are seasoning the Clynelish with the seasoned barrels from grain whiskey. So that's imparting a lot of that toffee oak components. So we really want to focus on American oak for Nectarosity. So all 4 of the core SKUs that you're going to taste are very different. We want to have a really clear message, clear voice on what these 4 whiskeys are. And Nectarosity is our oak driven, toffee, caramel, apricot, pineapple, like fruity, but also sweet, appeals to the bourbon drinker. And because we are retiring hedonism, and we're going to be having hedonism as part of our core, Nectarosity kind of gives you a little bit of those flavor profile, those notes to satisfy that.
Get a little of that waxiness on there, Charlie. You get that too? Yeah.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
is and so is
James is
and
too.
so is James.
James is too. We had this conversation.
And Linkwood and Clynelish and some of the same distilleries, Cameron Bridge and Girvan for the grain whiskeys.
See it, but even that little bit of Clynelish gives you a little bit of that little waxy note. Now I'm thinking of like the beeswax, and now I get nectar, beeswax, honeysuckle in this thing, and it could have been Beedoo whiskey instead of Nectarosity because it has stuff to do with the bees. Stinger.
That took me
It's a stinger, by the way.
a second. I think it's gonna grow. I think it's gonna grow on you.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. If I drink enough of it, it'll grow on me. I do like the thing is, John actually, so a couple of guys here, we sort of like, they got sort of hitched up as some of the experimental guys that are going to get some of the whiskeys, to try before they come out. And John is one of them, and he brought some of this in. So I actually tried this Saturday. So I tried this a little bit early.
Okay.
Out of that thing, and I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really good. I think it's going to hit a lot with a wide group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And dare I say, even some of the American whiskey people.
Yes. And I think that's really, and I said this earlier, and I say it often, that's really what Compass Box is all about. It's really trying to appeal. We're not going to appeal to everybody, but all different styles of whiskey drinkers. And when I do in-store tastings and I do seminars, and people are like, I only drink this. I was on the street today and I asked someone for a lunch recommendation, and he said, where are you from? And I told him what he said, who do you work for? And I told him, he said, oh, I only drink single malt. So like part of my job is to, and I said, I don't have time for this. I'm hungry. So I left him. I said, maybe
if you had said under any other thing, you would have given him part of your highball and it would have converted him. But on that day, you just said, I'm just too hungry.
I just said, I have to go eat lunch. We're not going to get into this right now. Maybe we'll see you later. But anyway.
What does the hive mind think of this? It's all going to be about bees now. What does the hive mind think about this? Do you like it? What do you got? You like it? Yeah. Is it? I'm just out of curiosity because I do like it, and I'm not a big giant sweet person, and it does have a sweet note to it, but I think it's well balanced, and I think that offsets that. It's not cloying or anything like that. There's just a sweet note. Does anybody find it too sweet? No. That's important because I really do think I love balanced whiskeys, and this is a balanced whiskey.
Yeah.
I really like this one.
All four of the core are at 92 proof, so all four they're all the same. We're kind of keeping that
Are
consistent
we
as
doing
well.
any chill filtration at 92 or or not?
No,
No.
no caramel coloring.
No, I know that.
No. Oh, it's just part of I'm naturally like
Yeah.
when I'm talking about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Like,
No. We don't no caramel. No, but even at 92, most of that's the magic number. But sometimes people do a light filtration, stuff like that. You're not doing
no.
that. Okay.
Mm-mm.
That's important to let people to know.
Yeah.
So you may get some flocculation if this gets cold, right?
Yes. I mean, some of our whiskeys, if you put them on ice, might turn a little cloudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. We all know
Yeah,
that
it's
means
fine.
they're more natural, right?
Yeah.
Less processing.
Yep.
Does not
Does
affect the
not affect the
taste. It does
taste.
not affect the taste.
Yeah.
All right. That's really good. I like that.
It's delicious.
I mean, I think this is an important part because like the core four is changing, and what great whiskeys to come out with in this lineup. I think this is really great. Now, the next one we're gonna try, I've not had it yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I saved
wonderful.
John offered it to me. I could have had it. I
Okay.
said, no, I want to try it with everybody else tonight.
Okay.
I sort of I couldn't wait that long, so I had to try the Nectarosity. I couldn't wait. I had to
Okay.
try that. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to try the Crimson Cask because I want to try it with everybody tonight.
I love that.
Has anybody? No one's had it yet. No one's bought it or tried it yet, except for John. And yeah, well, I'm asking the two big Compass Box fans in the room if they've had it already, and they're like, I knew you guys had it, but everybody else, no one else. All right, no one else but the cool kids in the corner, right? All right, good. All right, so tell us about Crimson Cask.
Okay, so this is something that I haven't mentioned tonight, but maybe you all know already. We are retiring the story of the Spaniard and Spice Tree. So the reason for that is both are delicious whiskeys, but there seemed to be a little bit of an overlap. Even though one was heavily sherried and one is finished in French oak. So we've decided that we really want to streamline our core so that they're very clear. So
Delineations between styles.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And so Crimson Cask is kind of like not if not half and half took them and like
melded them together.
Yes, thank you. But what it is, it's just under 80% wine cask, sherry, mostly sherry, Oloroso sherry. It's about 6% red wine cask. So it's just about 80% of red wine, wine cask, and then the rest of French oak. So you get that really beautiful richness as far as the fruits and jammy fruit and chocolate cherry coming from the sherry casks. I think the red wine, even though it's just over 6%, really like shines. And then you get that spiciness and that baking spice and that that what you get from the French oak. So it's like if you took
almost a little mocha too. I like a little chocolate, like little.
I'm gonna have to have my sip.
There's a lot going on in there.
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
This is what we like to call a thinking person's whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to change as you drink it. You're going to find more stuff going on. If you add a sip of water to this or a little bit of water to this, it's going to even blossom even more.
Yeah, and so we really wanted to have, especially for the label, we wanted to have something really bold. We want you to be able to look at the label and also the name Crimson. Crimson is, coming the color that you're getting from those red wine and those sherry casks, but we want a really bold, strong label as well. So that when you look at it and you look at the label and you look at the name,
look at the color.
You know what you're getting and the color of
look
the
at
whiskey.
the color. I mean, you're not lying.
Yeah.
When you said this is crimson.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely start to getting to that red hue.
I think
it's not even just suggestive by the name. It's I mean, even when you look at it here, you can sort of see.
Yeah, it's a beautiful whiskey. It's a whiskey that I was drinking the other night on the lake. It was 60 degrees and it was just like a beautiful night. And I was just sipping on this and I'm like, wow, this is just like really phenomenal all year round.
Yeah.
So Crimson Cask is our
This is going to be a fun one for the fall though.
Yes.
I mean, this is a sort of a nice one for, like we were just saying, that change in temperature, that crispiness around a fire or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
but
going to show.
It doesn't feel heavy.
No, it's not heavy. No, but it's got a lot of depth.
Yes.
Not heavy, but it does have a lot of depth. And
Yes.
there's a lot of flavors going on in here.
Yeah, and I think that the the balance of the fruit and the spice, I just think it works really well. So it's kind of like if Spice Tree and Story of the Spaniard had a love child, it would be Crimson Casks.
Now that's the story of the Spaniard.
I stole that from, yes, that's the story of the Spaniard. I stole that from someone and just figured I would
All
say
right,
it.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
You didn't give him credit, I noticed, but that's all right.
I already gave him credit earlier, so I figured I would just leave it.
All right.
Yeah.
If you feel comfortable with that, you just go right ahead.
Okay.
Anyways, no, but this is like, listen, this is, everybody is always worried about, especially things that they love coming from a company like Compass Box. There's a lot of change for us this year.
Yep.
You know, John leaving, James, who had already been integral to what was going on, still there. But then you say, oh my, we're going to take this one away. We're going to take this one away. And everybody in their head is like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I think you're hitting it out of the park with the new expressions that are coming in. So there's still something for everybody at the plate for these great, you know, for the Compass Box.
Yeah, I mean, on the label, so we're gonna have Nectarosity, Crimson Casks.
Yeah, it was difficult to say, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think I just need some water.
The Hive would have been a lot easier. Anyways.
Nectarosity and Crimson Casks. Packaging is a little bit different. Compass Box is a little bit bigger. The name of the whiskeys are a little bit bigger on the bottom. The Peat Monster and Orchard House packaging is also going to shift over, but the whiskeys are the same and everything is the same. But I think
there'll be a little bit different look to the labels,
yes.
So they all sort of line up.
They all start they line up, and I think it's just you can use 3 words. We have 3 words on the label that really describe the whiskeys, and they're just it's very, very clear cut.
Right.
On what you're in the mood for.
Now, I like this one a lot. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe. Got a thumbs up. No one left the room. We're doing good.
That's good.
That's good. They have whiskey. They really weren't going to leave the room. I'm just saying that. What's that? Yes, you are bribable. All right. So Peat Monster's saying, right? Peat Monster staying?
Staying. Oh, I thought you said Peat Monster sang, and I didn't.
Well, yeah. Oh, was that a clip?
I was like, do I have to sing?
Did you want to
I
sing?
didn't know what was about to happen.
It's staying though.
Yes.
Peat Monster is staying.
Peat Monster is staying. It's not going anywhere.
You can sing though if you like. They're chanting now.
So this is my first time in like a sit down with a headset on for a seminar, Compass Box seminar. But I was just a friend of mine who's also he was texting me about a Compass Box recipe, and I said, well, I'm about to do this seminar in front of 65 people, and I got a headset, and there's a Facebook Live, and he's like, you sang at Lincoln Center, like you'll be fine. But I don't know. This is new, you know. I don't know.
Let's see.
No, I don't. Yeah.
What's that?
Next.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Next time I'm back.
Okay. We have other,
we'll set up a keyboard in the back.
By the way, we have other presenters that do sing.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm always down for a challenge. We'll see next time.
Gauntlet thrown. Next time, John will take care of that. Okay. Johnny on the spot will take care of
a band.
Yeah, he can play the piano, but we'll figure out something.
Okay.
You're on the spot now. Now you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So anyways, Peat Monster. Now, a lot of them are familiar with Peat Monster.
Okay.
But why don't you bring everybody else up to speed?
Yeah, so Peat Monster came out in the early 2000s. There's a cult following with the Peat Monster. It's quite different than when you think of some of the smoky whiskeys. To me, it's more of that campfire smoke. It's the only expression with Kalila and Lafroig in the same bottling. So it's got that really beautiful campfire smoke, but finishes with some of that vanilla, a creamy note to it because some of it is finished in bourbon barrels. But this is our smoky peated whiskey. I can even get people that do not like smoky whiskey to really enjoy Peat Monster because there's a unique
It may be a monster, but it's a tiny one.
It's a tiny monster. You know what? I'm gonna steal something that that Karen likes to say about Peat Monster.
Oh, wait a minute. Close your ears, everybody. Earmuffs.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say
I
fuck.
know. I know.
But there we
You
go.
just did.
I did.
She only has
Karen-
one, so you're okay.
Karen likes to say Peat Monster is more like Monsters Inc. rather than like Alien 3,
There you go.
which I think is really accurate. Like it's really fun and playful, and delicious, but it's not super serious.
It's the monster that lives under your bed. It's not the one that chases you at the camp.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Peat Monster is not going anywhere. It is our peated whiskey, and it was created back in the early 2000s, and people, they know it, they love it.
Yeah.
And it's
It's a good staple, and it's something that really sort of it's nothing like anything else that you have in the core lineup.
yes. Unless you get some of a limit in the core lineup. Yeah, you're
limited
right.
editions.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that, but those are limited editions.
Yep.
Those
You're
all
right.
stand on their own.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's been some great Peat Monster iterations out there
Yes.
too that have been
Yeah,
great.
Peat Monster Cast Strength, which is
Yep.
our 20th anniversary. But it's 56.7%. It does not taste like that at all.
No.
I know that someone was talking about the Arcana. There's still different iterations that I still haven't tasted myself, but I can't taste them all. There's so many of them.
You can. It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's true.
We can taste them all.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short. You
You're
can
right.
taste them all.
You're right.
It's gonna take a while.
I'm just gonna take 2 months off of work and just taste all the Compass Box limited
In between
editions.
highballs.
Yeah, in
That's
between
great.
my highballs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
What's the makeup of Peat Monster?
So it's mostly Caligula and Lafroig. So the iterations have changed over the years. But the current iteration is, you and I were just talking about this in the car. The current iteration, I believe,
You can check
percentage
your notes.
wise.
That's okay.
Okay. There is 1% of Highland malt blend in the Peat Monster, just because, we use Highland malt blends in our expressions. Lafroig is coming at 35%, and the rest is Caligula. Finished in different mostly, so it's mostly refill hogshead. And then we've got 1% of Highland malt blend, but it's all Lafroig and Caligula.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice. Who likes Pete? Anyways, Pete, don't look. No. All right. Who doesn't like Pete? Who doesn't like Pete? Do you like this? Sort of. Okay, I got a sort of. I get a yes. So no one again. No people who are having this again. It's got a pretty good balance of flavors. It's not overly peated. I mean, even though the name is Peat Monster, it's not crazy. And even people who are not really that crazy about Pete sort of don't mind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's sort of one of those things you can go, yes, sir. Any more cast strength Peat Monsters coming down the pike?
We're gonna be doing some more Peat Monster cast strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see a 30th anniversary coming someday.
Someday.
I don't know if you have any more you don't have any more here?
What?
Cast strength?
Cast strength?
Yeah. It's been long gone.
Long gone.
Okay.
Long gone.
All right.
Yeah. We actually did get some later because our wholesaler didn't realize they had some.
Okay.
We did get a little bit, like, after it was all gone. We actually got, like, I think it was just like one case. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
But you never know, because when they finally do inventory at the wholesaler, all of a sudden they'll call and go, "Hey, do you want any? Like, are you looking for any of this?" And I go, "Like, you mean the one I've asked you for the last 6 months?" Yeah. Yeah, I will have some of that.
So
and you just get some of that.
We're out of it in New Jersey, but we
Yeah.
still have some in New York.
Yeah.
You
can still get some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we can check with David. Will check and see if there's any in the warehouse. And if we got some, you can order it. We'll honor the pricing for tonight too. Like, we'll give you a deal on it. It's not the same price because it's cast strength. It's more expensive, but we'll figure something out for you.
But as far as iterations of a more Peat Monster, I'm sure there will be more iterations. They don't consult me for the limited editions.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So
They will.
The answer is probably, but I don't know for sure.
All right. So the next one that is on your tray tonight is it happens to be our bespoke blend, which is called More. For those of you who don't know, it's the 50th anniversary of Julio's Liquors, 1974. Thank you. And so although John was sort of like not really doing really any more bespoke, we had already started we'd already started down the trail to do this as a bespoke whiskey for our 50th, which is sort of was already in the works when everything came about. We even had some of the stuff put aside for us because we knew we wanted to use those in our things. Karen was obviously key and pivotal in that to help us out in getting this done. And then John and I and James started working on it, and then James and I we sort of finished it up, and this is what I have. More is actually it's sort of a dual purpose. We're at 50 years. We'd like to go more, and more was a sort of a jokey, a tasting note. This tastes like more. I'll have some more of that. So sort of something that started with my dad. Everybody sort of picked up on it as we used it, talking about that tastes like more. So we actually decided to come out with a whiskey called More. And here you have it in front of you. Have any of you not had more yet? Oh, quite a few here for tonight. Why don't James gave you the breakdown, right?
Yeah, so I reached out to James. So I don't have more in New York, and as I mentioned,
Nor will you
Massachusetts
ever have it in Yankee territory.
we will never have it, and that's what's so special about bespoke blends. So we will not have it in New York. We'll not have it in
The
New
last
Jersey.
bespoke was in New York. The last bespoke I did
That you did
was in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Well,
We did it with Astor.
okay.
Yeah.
Um.
That what's that? Yeah, actually, I have some here. You can try some after. It's
Oh.
called Rivals.
Oh,
Because
great.
what would you call Boston and New York?
Amazing.
Rivals.
I love it.
So
That's
there was.
awesome.
So that was the one. So this is more though. This is complete. So give us the.
That's really what James had said to me, is that he wanted to, obviously this is a creation for the 50th anniversary, but the word more is that, that you want to do more, but also flavor profile. It's meant to be have a lot of depth and complexity and be, have a lot of layers to it. And so the other thing that he told me was that you really love Mortlock.
I do.
And so this is the last parcel. This is made with the last parcel of Mortlock that we have. So this is the last cask. So that's what's really special about it. So this is Mortlock, and I apologize, I'm going to be reading this because I just received this recently, but I will tell you what it is. So
Save me looking it up because I have it in my
Yes.
notes. But
So it's Mortlock in recharred barrel. It's 21-year-old at 28.1%. It's Macduff Distillery, first fill sherry butt, 15-year at 22.7%. Talisker, recharred hogshead, 16-year at 27.6%. And then Aberlour at recharred recharred barrel, 24-year-old whiskey at 21.6%. So yes, this is the last cask of Mortlock that we had. The whiskey that we made before that with some Mortlock was Menagerie, back in 2021, and then we don't have any more of that. So, oh, look what I did there.
Oh,
oh,
we got it all done.
It's delicious. James gave us the notes. We asked for what are 3 notes that could really describe this whiskey, and I think he was spot on: spicy toffee, apples, and smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we always we describe the peat. I describe the peat in this one as salt on a steak, not the steak. It's meant to enhance all the other flavors. The peatiness of the Talisker enhances the rest of the flavors, but doesn't overtake everything.
Yes.
So the salt on the steak rather than the steak.
Yes.
So if this is your first time trying, what do you guys think? First time triers? More. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
See if the flavor notes go. No, this is actually we're really proud of this. This is the average age of this is over 19 years old that make this whole blend up. And we couldn't be happier with this being sort of the transition between John leaving and James. Sort of like it was really nice that it was the way it worked out was sort of in between, and everybody sort of had their hands in this last sort of bespoke that we were
Mhm.
doing too, which was really cool for me because we were really one of Compass Box first customers in Massachusetts, and some of the first ones, and we actually even did a dinner with John when he just saw us when it just came to the United States, really, and to sort of finish it up as he was sort of retiring. I don't know how long he can retire for, but we'll see. But it really meant a lot to me to be part, because we've been along on this Compass Box journey really almost the entire time, which was really cool.
Yeah. It's delicious.
You like it?
Yes.
You're not just saying that.
No.
All right. We'll make you sing
Next time.
next time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really nice. I
Yeah.
really like it. You guys want to hand out the next one? Oh, I got the bottle right here. Are you going to hand it out? All right. So, we have a couple. That was our lineup for tonight. I mean, if that wasn't good enough for anybody, I don't know. I can't. You're impossible to please. But just in case, I know I do know you too well, but just in case,
Thank you.
we talked to a couple of guys and we decided on. Actually, we ended up with everything from Megazone that he brought in. But I thought there was a couple here that I thought just really sort of fit with the whole night. The first one is Compass Box Eleuthera. Yeah. You like this one, do you? So this is actually is this the second or the first Eleuthera? I think it might be the second, right? Yeah, I mean, but this was I think right. This is I think the first one. This is the blend. It's a vat. It goes so far back. It's actually called a vatted malt, which, if you ask me, is the correct terminology. But anyways, me and the Scotch Malt Whiskey Association are going to disagree on this one. It's a vatted malt Scotch whiskey, 46%, non-chill filtered, non-colored. This is I love this whiskey. I hope you guys do too. But this is one of those ones that did they do? Are you guys doing any more one-offs of this? You're not doing any more one-off of this, are you?
No.
Long gone.
I don't. Yeah.
So enjoy this, because this is unobtainium. So you might as well enjoy this one. So try this one, see what you think.
Yeah.
I love the nose on this one, by the way.
Mhm.
There's like nuttiness in there. There's a little bit of like a nectar sort of like floral note to it.
It's very different on the nose than it is on the palate.
Mhm.
It's much spicier on the palate than you would think that it's more.
It does finish it up right.
It's more fruit forward on the nose, and it really gets the front of the tongue.
I think he actually put yes. Do you want to toast Robin Robinson? If he hears that I'm toasting him, he appears. And I don't know if he's gonna kill me now. I don't know if I toast Robin Robinson, it's like the devil. You don't want to say Beetlejuice 3 times. But here's huh? Oh, yep. Yep. 20 years ago today, Ginny found a Eleuthera license plate, and she gave it to Robin Robinson, and he has it in his sanctorum. And he has it up in his thing. And Robin is really one of the first guys that introduced us to Compass Box. So we will give him a toast. I've only said his name twice, right?
I'll have to let him know when I see him.
Let him know, please,
Okay.
that we did that, and he'll go
Okay.
back and look at it, and that his head will swell. Here's to Robin Robinson. Thank you, sir. You've done a lot for us.
was
And
just
we do
It was just
appreciate it.
three times. So
Three times, he's
he's
coming.
gonna come out of the door.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I love that one a lot. That's a really great whiskey.
Yeah.
Does Compass Boss plan on being as they are now?
Yes.
All the information is available all the time. Total transparency.
Yes.
Basically.
All transparent.
All transparent.
Yes. That is Compass Box. Compass Box is about being transparent, where it's coming from, what it's filled in, how old the whiskeys are. And if it says something else, like distillery near the town of Abelauer, it's just a proprietary, not for our.
It's an
not-
NDP. You can't say
yeah.
it. Yeah. There's a
So,
reason you can't say it.
yes.
That's that. I mean, and that's acceptable. I think everybody in this industry or anybody that's a whiskey sort of geek or excuse me, not geek, aficionado, will sort of attest to that. That's perfectly acceptable because you do have sometimes confines of what you can and cannot say. We get that. But for the most part, we're being totally transparent about whatever they do, and you can find the information online.
Yes, on our website. That will never change. That's very important to Compass Box, and we will always carry on that tradition.
Well, it's more even a philosophy.
Yeah, philosophy.
This one, the Eleuthera was discontinued in 2005. All right, so the Eleuthera was 2005. This one was discontinued, guys. The Eleuthera. Just so you guys, for your notes.
Megazone, thank you for sharing these whiskeys with us.
Lisa, did you get that?
I
2005.
got the message that. Oh,
that's okay. Go ahead.
We will say hello after the. I talked to Karen. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, everybody does what Karen says. It's sort of scary, and you have to do it. The next whiskey that is being handed out right now is a Hedonism. So if you saved a little bit of the Hedonism from slot number 1, you can try this against this one. Do you know which one this is? August 2002. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the third bottling of Hedonism. So you have the last bottling, you have the third bottling right here. So you guys can try that one out and see what you think. Actually, I can probably tell you. Hold on. Yep. 22. 20 years. So there's 20 years between the first one you tried and this one. Right? Yeah. Go reverse. This was, I think, I think this is the regular bottling. This was the mainstream bottling. This is before they started doing like sort of off ones. Yeah. Yep. And you can tell that this is one that this is a European bottling because this is a 700. So, all right, try this one. See what you think. Yes, just Jenny. You have an empty bottle of the last vatted malt. Well, it's really interesting, but it doesn't do us any good because it's empty. This is like, okay, so did you guys try? Did anybody save any of their?
Yes.
They did. Oh, yes. You're so smart. That's a lot of big temptation, you know. I get it. What's that? I gave you time. I'm giving him all the credit. Megazone was the one who reminded me to remind you not to drink all your whiskey. All right, so in the 2002 edition, the vanilla is really up front, right? I mean, it pops in the nose and in the first flavor. However, once you do that and you try them back and forth, you get more of the vanilla in the 2022 that I didn't really pick up on the first time.
To me, the 2022 is much softer.
It is. It's less in your face.
Yes, it's got more creme brulee coconut, and the 2000 the 2002 it's 2005 with
2002
it's a little bit spicier. And it does have that little more of that
vanilla.
Yeah, that vanilla.
Yeah, the vanilla really comes through.
Yeah.
Well, we got to go through some stuff. I did you guys enjoy the tasting? How did Melissa do for her first time? She's got to work on her swearing. Okay.
I'll
You're going to work on your
I'll work
swearing.
on my swearing.
Work on your swearing.
Okay.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Facebook Live and watching this presentation. If you ever want to go back and watch it again, you can go to Julio's Liquors Facebook page, and it'll be one of the videos up there. Or you can go to wherever you get your podcasts and look up It's the Liquor Talking. Cousin Vinny will probably have this up by tomorrow and have it up there. And I got to go over some information with everybody here. I'm going to say bye to everybody on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. You really should have been here. This was awesome.